Today I'm here with Elizabeth Suarez, a resident negotiation expert. So Elizabeth, could you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yes. First of all, thank you for having me
Oh, of
here.
course,
It's
yes.
great to be here in this conference. I am a best-selling author, speaker, and coach on the topic of negotiation. I spent 2 good decades of my life career in corporate America, going up the management ranks, and realized that while there, that one of the things that women lacked was that aspect of feeling comfortable negotiating. So I focus on helping professional women negotiate effectively.
That's fascinating. Can you share a little bit of a couple tips maybe for negotiating?
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. I look at negotiation from a holistic standpoint. Normally when experts in negotiation, they look at the negotiation, they look at it in the deal. They're like, oh, this is the deal, this is what we're gonna cut. I look at it holistically, like you identify what is it that you want, and then what is it that you have to do in order for when you get to that point that you're going to ask for what you want, which is the negotiation, you are ready, and the other people are ready to understand why are you the qualified person to do that. So it's a holistic approach that you look not only at your career, but you also look at your family demands, and you also look at ways that you need to recharge yourself in terms of interests, because it's not all about work. You also have to be a well-rounded individual.
Absolutely. So you have a book.
Yes.
I understand. And is there, like when you were writing the book, were you thinking in the perspective of yourself or in women that you wanted to inspire? Or like what was kind of like the viewpoint that you took when writing the book?
Yeah, my best-selling book, The Art of Getting Everything, I actually wrote it for somebody I have mentored. Her name is Alexandra Alonso. She's a millennial. And what I came to realize is that I knew Alexandra very young. And then I saw her evolve, get educated, evolve, and become an amazing professional. And I started realizing that she was asking me the same questions I was asking myself back when I came into corporate America in the late 80s. And I remember having a conversation with her and saying, Alexandra, these are the same questions I used to ask. This past like 30 years has gone by. Like seriously, you don't know the answers? And it was interesting, she was very open and she says, no, I don't, and neither do the rest of my colleague females. So she does, so why don't you write a book? She dared me.
Oh my gosh.
She says, go ahead and write a book. And I was like, I don't have time. And I then realized after that conversation, I said, I need to write a book because I found more and more Alexandras out there. And what I came to realize, I did not want to write a book that would take you weeks to read. So I found a publisher that was a great publisher that basically said to me, you know what, your book needs to take less than an hour and a half to read. So you do it on a plane ride from Chicago to LA or from New York to Denver. It's basically, it's a book that you get, you read it, and then you pass it on. And that's what my book is all about, The Art of Getting Everything. It's 79 minutes based on my publisher. I have some people that have said that have taken them 100 minutes, but 79 to 100 minutes, close enough. It's a airplane ride.
Oh, I love that. So as a business leader, as a woman in business, what tips other than negotiating would you give to women in the tech field today?
The tip number one that I would say is network. Network with people you do not know. Identify who are the people that you need to know and go and approach those individuals. Don't wait for those individuals to approach you. The reason why you need to network is because you have to consider yourself that you are your own brand. And if you're networking, if you're not networking, nobody will know who you are. Nobody will know your brand. It's like Nike. Everybody knows Nike because Nike has been networking, buying ads, doing everything that they have done. We have to view ourselves that we are our own Nikes. And we need to go out there and profess to everybody and inform everybody that we are our own Nike and say what we have accomplished. So that's the tip number one. It's a tip that many women don't feel comfortable doing because we like to stay with our group and our tribe. And I'm one of them, but I have created a very quick approach that I call it the 5-3-1, where you can go ahead and actually network very well. And I shared it earlier today when I was giving my speech to this wonderful Women in Technology 2019 conference.
And speaking of the conference, what's been your favorite part so far?
the women that are attending this conference, over 650 women, they were amazing. They were so engaged. They were really wanting to learn and really sharing with each other. So I do have hope, because when I started in corporate America, I did not have that group of women. How I view it is a tribe of 650 women. They all can refer back to each other.
Do you think, speaking of that, like the landscape is changing for the better? What further work do you think we have to do?
The landscaping is changing for the better because now you have the numbers. When I started, I did not have this amount of women behind me. So now you have the numbers. Now what we need to change is that we need to know that we're our own brand, and we need from there to go and share with everybody who we are, what are our accomplishments, and at the end of the day, we need to ask for it.
Absolutely.
If we don't do it, we cannot expect for others to ask for ourselves. We have to be our own brand. Remember, we're Nike.
Take charge.
Take charge. Just do it. So.
And then you are the daughter of an immigrant.
Yes.
So how do you think the role of diversity in technology plays currently today? Like, do you think it's important? Could we be doing better? What value does diversity bring?
Diversity as well as inclusiveness is extremely important. Just having numbers of individuals saying, oh, let's put a Latina, let's put an African American, and let's put a white person, a Muslim person. Okay, we got the diversity. That's not good enough. It's the inclusiveness of including that Latina, that African American, that white person, the Muslim person, that basically they are included in decision making. They are included in molding the company. That is the most important thing. I am from Cuban immigrant parents that they left Cuba under communism, and then they went to Puerto Rico, and I was raised in Puerto Rico and came to the United States, and I have always felt that I am this immigrant that comes in here and actually trying to change people's life, like what I just said in the talk that I gave. When 50% of upper management in corporate America becomes women and diverse, that's when I retire and go back to Puerto Rico.
I love
so
that.
It needs to happen because I love my island. I need to go back to the beach.
Gotta get home eventually.
I have to get home eventually.
And then you also touched on mentorship a little bit. What value is mentorship to you? Like, how do you try to be a good mentor? How do you look to mentor other people?
Great question. Even people like myself, I always encourage colleagues of mine, we always need to mentor. So we don't have time. So I actually pick 2 people I'm going to mentor on an annual basis.
Oh, interesting.
And yes, and I do it, and I pick them around November, December. They always happen to be females. There's some men that are like, this is not fair, but I pick.
Tough luck.
Yes, I'm like, sorry. And I'm currently mentoring a woman in Minneapolis and another woman in San Jose, California.
Wow.
And basically once a month we touch base. It's not that we see each other, we just like on the phone. They text me whenever they have questions. Last night somebody texted me, the woman from San Jose, California texted me, said, I have a meeting this morning, should I start with this? And quickly I responded to her. Basically we have to mentor because I had mentors in Puerto Rico when I was growing up in Puerto Rico, and that's the reason I am here today, because I had mentors throughout my career that believed in me and took the time to take my calls, to meet with me, to give me advice, to be there when the tears were coming down because I had failed, and they were there, holding my hand and saying, we got you, don't worry about that. And also to be there in my wonderful successes. And that's why we all need to mentor. We all need to mentor a couple people. I can only do 2 a year. I will always hold that. I wish I could do more, because when I mentor, I basically get
invest.
I do. I invest in the person. I know everything about their life. It's a great gossip.
That's so. I bet. Do you have a waiting list?
I do.
Oh my goodness.
I really do.
Yeah.
I already have 5 people that have approached me for
wow.
2020, and I'm like, oh.
I'll have to look at 2021 then.
Yeah.
Or like 2022. Anyone out there?
It's gonna be hard. So so I'm also encouraging. I have a daughter that's 18 that's about to go into the STEM field of study in college in August, and I also am encouraging her that she's going to have to mentor, because she has been mentored with an interest that she has, and she has had a couple of adults that have mentored her. And I've told her, said, now when you go to college, you're going to have to mentor. She says, I'm still young. I said, you start at every age.
Absolutely.
There's somebody younger than you that will need you. And many times it's not even the person that's younger. It could be somebody your own age that you can mentor them on some specific topic.
And then last but not least, since your daughter is about to start her career in tech, what advice would you have for her and all the other young women who are entering the tech fields?
I would say get educated, get all the education you have, and raise your hand when they're asking for volunteers. Volunteer for every project you can find while you're in college, because you need, now they're in college is when you start growing your network. Don't just stay with your student body friends. Go and meet faculty, meet postgraduate students, meet teaching assistants, and volunteer and say, oh, I can organize that event, that happy hour on Thursday night with the math department. Get involved and do that.
I love that. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for the time, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak in this conference. I am totally invigorated after coming off that stage.
We appreciate you so much. So,
well, thanks.
You guys can catch Elizabeth Suarez and her best-selling book. You can find her on LinkedIn. She is fantastic, and she'll be here for the rest of the day.
Thank you.